Hey, 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 everybody. Come on in, come on in, come on in. It's Elle here from the Unapologetic Women Global Rempowerment Movement. And have a really interesting topic of conversation today. And just looking at how wild my hair is right now, because I had an extended soiree meeting this morning and then did some yoga, and then it just came down and through that this is something that really needs to be talked about. And it's something that came up in the soiree conversation today. So if you don't know what I'm talking about with regards to the soiree, have a look at the link down below. It's for really women who are tired of traditional networking and they're seeking a space for deep connection and friendship and sisterhood and to be yourself and to have rich conversations. And then we make introductions and stuff because we love each other, but that's not the point of the space. Oh, by the way, if you're new to my world, say hi in the comments and let me know where you're from. And if you're a friend, say hi as well, because we love to have conversations. Cannot have enough conversations. And one of the soiree sisters have been speaking into manifestation, the life that she desires to have, the empire that she is in creation mode of, and who she is really meant to be on this planet. Powerful, powerful stuff. But as I was listening to her this morning, there was a frazzled energy. There was a, oh my God, everything is coming now all at once and needing to just find my feet again. And I see this happen so often. And yes, it's happened to me multiple times as well before I figured this part out. And the part is the identity of who you are choosing to be in this moment in relation to your desires. So, what am I even talking about here? Well, I think that it's critical for us to start understanding the manifestation process, more specifically for us to start understanding the evolution of consciousness through human experience. So, for those of you who are not used to my language, consciousness, some of you might call it source energy, God, whatever that is, the universe, is in constant and eternal evolution. It is not done the way that so many of us were brought up to believe that it is. God is done, and now we are playing the game out. God, source, the universe, is in constant and eternal evolution. And we, as source energy, which we are part of, which we are, come and have a human experience as part of the design of consciousness evolution. And the wonderful part of this is that evolution happens through desire. How wonderful is that? Evolution happens through desire. I cannot accentuate strongly enough how important it is for us, especially as women, to start focusing on the power of desire and our desires and to stop making them wrong. So when you are living life, there's one of two things that happen. There's a life occurrence that happens, and inside there is a desire born instantly of the opposite, because we experience something that we say is contrast. It's shit. We don't like it. I don't want this to ever happen again. I don't want this happening for me, and I don't want this happening for other people. Or something happens and we go, yeah, I want some of that. I want some of that. And I want it in this way and that way. And this would be delicious and that would be delectable. And it's just all yumminess, desire. Now, here's the thing. The moment that we have that life experience, whether we understand this consciously or unconsciously, that desire is done. And in the doneness, consciousness has evolved. Now, because we are consciousness, that means instantly our consciousness has evolved. Critical. Not a future consciousness, not a higher consciousness, not an out there consciousness. our consciousness evolved in that moment. It's how we become continuously more wiser, richer, more vivacious, more energized, healthier. Like that is the becoming, is the more of the good stuff, which means you are more of the good stuff, baby. But because we're having the human experience and because we have been conditioned to only see ourselves as the human, there is God, there's the universe, there is source, here's the human, instead of we are source, we are God, we are the universe, evolving the universe, consciousness through human experience. Because we're not raised that way, for most of us, we're not, and we are conditioned to separate ourselves, which goes against the law of oneness. But because we think separately of ourselves, we get caught up in the human experience and more specifically, the human identity at this time. We go as far as to create these identities and then pinning them on events that happened previously in our lifetimes. And then we stay true to those identities. We tell ourselves and each other that there's healing that needs to be taken place. There is change that has to be done. There is this and that that has to happen in order for us to be whole and healed and then move into our fullness. And if that is the reality that you choose to create for yourself and others, I respect and honor that as your choice. It is just no longer a choice that I choose for myself because I have created evidence of what else is possible without that story. And I'm having way more fun without that story and without that belief. So when we stop identifying with the past and therefore staying true to the old identity, then we start realizing that, no, I am not the same woman today as what I was yesterday, because as I lived yesterday, I created new desires through being present in my life, and therefore I have become more. So who am I as this more? Who is more Elle? Who is more Amy? Who is more Diane? Who is more Philippa? Who is more you? And then I get to calibrate to that every morning. It's why I personally start my day with journaling. My journaling process is very much connecting to who have I become, who is this new version of me today, and how is it that I get to think, how do I get to feel, how do I get to move, how do I get to eat, how do I get to make decisions, all of those things. What does it feel like to be this woman? And most importantly, because this was my overarching design command to the universe, in a way that feels like ease, flow, fun, and shenanigans. So what this helps me to do is to recalibrate every single day to an evolved version of me. And therefore, I don't have to bring through the old identity, and my capacity to receive my desires has been calibrated to the capacity required for the new desires to come through. You see, if we are constantly speaking our desires into form, but we do not shift our identity, we do not allow our identity to evolve naturally and expand naturally, we reach a point where our creation starts showing up because we are that powerful. But we feel overwhelmed. We feel like a little frazzled, a little out of joint. And if we don't start recalibrating, that feeling becomes greater and greater and greater until eventually we start creating the opposite, the absence of the very desire we said we wanted. Because we do not have the capacity to receive the fullness of our desire. We do not have the capacity to receive the fullness of our desire. This is why women self-sabotage. This is why we say that, oh, no, it only gets this good and then it starts getting bad. This is why. Because it only gets better and better. Because we only get better and better. But if we do not consciously keep up with ourselves as the better and better version of us, then eventually we get to a point where it is uncomfortable and we will create the environment that is a match for our eternal internal frequency. So really feel into this, like really, really meditate on this point. You will create the environment that matches your internal frequency. It is not the other way around. Your environment doesn't dictate your internal frequency. Your internal frequency dictates your environment. Now, I'm also going to say this. Thank peanut butter, it doesn't happen instantly, right? We don't get to a certain point and instantly, the moment we feel frazzled, shit starts raining down on us. That doesn't happen through the grace of the universe. Because we are allowed to get into our tiz. We're allowed to have the full human experience without shit blowing up every 5 minutes just because we are having a bad day or a bad moment. But in the same way that everything doesn't go pear-shaped every time that we have a wobble, everything also doesn't instantly come into manifestation when we feel fabulous. Because the environment, our external world, takes time to reshape and adjust to the new dominant frequency that we hold. Dominant frequency that we hold. Dominant frequency that we hold, which means I am a happy woman that have sad moments and that have crappy days. But my dominant frequency is I'm a freaking happy woman. But if I allowed myself to spin out of control and my dominant frequency was I'm an obsessive woman, I'm an unhappy woman, I'm a struggling woman, I am a dissatisfied woman, I am a distrusting woman. When that becomes my dominant frequency because I hold it for a prolonged period of time, then my environment adjusts to start showing that to me. So wherever you are at the moment, my question to you is, and the invitation is, are you allowing yourself to be your evolved identity today based on the desires that you have been holding in your mind and in your heart over a period of time or not? It's just an awareness, darling. Start feeling into what is my dominant frequency. So for the most part, am I high vibrational? For the most part, am I happy? For the most part, am I carefree? For the most part, am I creative? For the most part, am I having fun? And not the forced stuff either, like genuinely. Or for the most part, am I feeling overwhelmed? For the most part, am I feeling uncertain? For the most part, am I feeling discouraged? For the most part, am I feeling frazzled? For the most part, am I feeling scared? And that is your dominant frequency. Now, there are so many ways to shift your frequency, darling, whether it's through, I wrote a blog about it today. I'll probably put the link down in for you guys below. Shaking, dancing, screaming, shouting, throwing a tantrum, having a good cry, having a conversation with your girlfriend, coming to the soiree, whatever that is. There's so many things that you can do. But here's a little piece for you as well. They all involve your body. Like, this is not mental masturbation. This is you understanding that you have a physical body for a reason. And so we use our physical bodies to start making the changes in our frequency, which then starts making a change in our mindset and our emotions. And it's all a beautiful spiral up rather than a spiral down. So if you're a woman that you have been working towards holding this vision of what is possible and through desire for you in your world, what is the world that you are busy shaping and creating for yourself? The most critical work every single day is to choose your evolved identity. Is to choose your evolved identity first, and then you show up for the vision. Then you take the action. Then you have the conversations. Because if you don't, then all you are doing is you are operating from an outdated identity that does not have the capacity to hold the energy, the frequency, and the goodness of all that you desire and that is coming your way. I'm also going to say, be a little bit more compassionate and patient with yourself. Be a little bit more compassionate and patient with yourself. Enjoy the process instead of just going after the result, because it's the process that's actually the game of life. The results, the manifestations, they're fabulous. I'm not going to lie. They feel good. We're here to have a manifested experience. But the process, the journey, all of that, that is the fun part. It's the creating, not the creation, that really lights our asses on fire and why we are here in the first place. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. Like, who is the identity that you know in your heart that you have become, that you've maybe not just given yourself permission to consciously embody it? And that's okay too. The wonderful monologue that's happening in so many spaces about what we should be scared of, which again, I don't buy into anymore, because we don't have to. It's natural, it's beautiful, it's inevitable, and it's an allowance of who you truly are, knowing that who you truly are is magnificence in human form, and that you are perfect and whole and complete and creative and an artist and a woman. So why not just be unapologetic about that? All right, darlings. So this was my message for you today. It's all about the identity piece. If this is something that you desire support with, if you know that you are up to incredibly big things and you maybe haven't figured out this one little piece about the identity, and you want support in that, then book a consultation with me and let's actually start shifting you, start calibrating you immediately on the consultation into this new identity. The consultation can be a one-off conversation, or else we can get to the end of the conversation and go, maybe it's time for us to partner on a longer basis with that, and then we will take it from there. So that is always an invitation that is available to you if you are an unapologetic woman and you know that who you are here to be is mind-blowingly fabulous. So, and of course, the invitation for the soiree is always there for you ladies. Best space, as far as I'm concerned. And I have gone to many, many spaces, and I still go to other spaces. I always come back to the soiree. It's home. It's home. It's family. And that's what I am creating. So that is it for today. If there's anything else that you would like to talk about, that you would like me to talk about, if there's anything that came up for you that you would like to talk about, pop it in the comments as well. I can either do another live, or I will always come back into the comments and reply to those as well. This is where we actually start understanding how powerful it is when we express ourselves without words. Until next time, have a sensational day or evening wherever you are in the world, and I will see you again soon. Cheers.